Montoria, and a lot of people call me Tori for short. So I'm actually from Chicago, sort of. I moved here from Chicago, and I got here because a recruiter just like made me fall in love with ISU before I even got here. So it was kind of weird because whenever I went to a college fair, if a recruiter didn't talk to me or like try to get my attention as I was walking by, I just didn't want to go. I'm like, I'm not going there. They're not friendly. They don't want to talk to me. So I know that's kind of a bad way to go about a college fair, but that's what I did. And then me and him actually still talk now. So like we're kind of close. We have a relationship, sort of like a friendship or whatever. And then like the first time I came to campus, I fell in love with it. So it was like amazing. Like just being here, the people were so friendly. Like my parents and we got lost. Like we didn't know which way to go, and then somebody just saw that we were lost and told us which way to go. So it was like, I like the atmosphere and how kind of peaceful it is. I like the way people act. I mean, Chicago is not really a peaceful area. I mean, there's a lot of, depending on where you live in Chicago, see, I lived in several different parts, but like the south side of Chicago, where I like basically lived for the past 4 years, it was kind of noisy, like especially at night. I mean, there would be gunshots and different things you would hear. You would hear people yelling and arguing outside. So like it was peaceful coming here, like just a different place, a place to start over.
Yeah.
So I mean, I lived in Iowa before. And I was known for the corn, so they're really boring. It's like a corn state. So like it's kind of peaceful there too. But it was peaceful to the point where it's boring peaceful. But I mean, I'm not a real noisy person, so I like the way it feels. The thing was, moving from Iowa to Chicago, like it was a huge culture shock. So for me, like when I first got there, I was afraid. Like I would go to school, I went to school in 8th grade. I moved to Chicago in 8th grade. So there was a police, it was kind of like a raid sort of. So like the police officers came into the room, and I guess there was drugs in the room. So like they locked the classroom, and I freaked out because I'm like, they're not on me. Like I almost had an asthma attack because I was panicking. Well, a panic attack, I don't know which one. But it was just like, I started kind of hyperventilating because I was scared. Like I've never experienced anything like that, because in Iowa, they don't do that. And they don't really have to worry about that. So it was just kind of, it was so different. So it took a lot of getting used to. You don't really ever get used to hearing gunshots because you never know like if it could come through your window or anything. But we lived on the 2nd floor, so I wasn't as worried about it. But like we didn't really, there would be times where we wouldn't stay in the front room at night. So it's kind of, it's weird. Just because the front room would be by the street. So you have to be careful just in case. Like you never know what could come through the window, or you never know who's shooting outside or who's arguing. And you don't want to be caught up in it. So it was different getting used to. So like I don't miss home at all. So it's just like I moved so many places, I feel like I don't really have a home yet. So it's just like I've been moving since I was like born basically. So it's just like I don't really miss Chicago. I mean, it's okay. I like Chicago, but I don't miss it. So I mean, I like the campus. Like I like new experiences because I'm trying to find myself sort of. And that's usually what people say, you're gonna find yourself in college. And then I don't want to waste any time finding myself. And I don't want to go back to Chicago and then like not be able to do what I was going to do here. I want to become a social worker.
Really? Awesome. And why?
Because so like when everybody asked me, I told them the same thing. But like I went through a lot of things when I was younger that I felt like I shouldn't have gone through. I don't know if that didn't sound right. So I shouldn't have went through a lot of things when I was younger. So I want to be able to help. Like I know it's a little impact, but some impact is better than none. Because I was going to be a counselor, a children's counselor, but I felt like social work would be more of a better, I don't know what word I'm looking for. It would be a better fit because like, I mean, as a counselor, you listen, but I feel like as a social worker, you listen too. But you're able to help more. Like, if there's something actually going on, you're actually able to help.
Right.
So that's what I'm kind of trying to do. Okay. So my mother had diabetes, and she was sick for like basically my whole childhood. So when she passed away, I was like 12 years old. But I had been taking care of her for the past like 3 years. Like I had an older sister, but she was always afraid. Like if my mom would throw up or something, she would be afraid, and she would just like leave, because she was older than me, so she could leave, and she turned to drinking. But I couldn't just leave because I was only 12, and like I couldn't just go drink and just forget about everything that happened. So the night that she passed away was probably my saddest moment, because like I felt alone. Like I had been living with her basically by myself for the past like 2 years, because my sister, she was getting sicker, so my sister just kept running. So it was like my saddest moment, because I was by myself when I found her. So it was just like, you can't really say anything to make that feel better. Like that moment is not something you can just, it's not a birthday card or like, oh, I'm sorry your mom's dead card that you can just give somebody to make them feel better. So I mean, you can tell them everything, like, oh, it's gonna get better, and then it gets worse before it gets better. But that doesn't fix everything. Like it's still like a pain that's always there. I did actually grow up pretty quickly. So like by the time I was like 9, I knew how to do laundry, I knew how to cook, I know how to basically anything, almost everything an adult knows how to do besides pay bills. And my mom tried to teach me how to drive too, but it didn't work out. I mean, I was tall enough, but I mean, I mean, I knew how to do everything by myself. So like, I was raised kind of independently, because it was like, sort of like she was preparing me for it. Like, not just directly saying I'm not going to be here. Like, she would tell me sometimes I'm not always going to be here. But she basically prepared me for her leaving, because I already knew how to do everything. So a lot of people will tell me like I'm mature for my age, but it's not. Like it didn't just happen. Like it wasn't my fault. It was like basically my mom. So it was kind of, she prepared me for it. For one, I mean, I don't want to make it sound like it's a bad thing, but I was kind of relieved, because I mean, she wasn't in pain anymore, and I didn't have to worry, because at the time when she was sick, like my grades dropped, and like my behavior got worse in school, and I didn't even want to go to school anymore, because I wanted to take care of her. So I'm like, I don't have to go today, I can just stay and take care of you. So it was just like when I lost her, it was like, you gotta keep going. Like it's like you can't stop now, it's too late. Like you gotta keep going. So like I always look back like, that's crazy, because I came from like a C to D student, and then in high school I had straight A's. And I was like salutatorian when I graduated. So it was like she built it up in me to be stronger. Like she always told me, she told me when she gave birth that she didn't even cry, because it wasn't gonna like change anything. So she was always like trying to make me stronger and make me not as weak. So I guess she was kind of preparing me again. But it was like, it all made me stronger in the end. Like my dad tells me all the time now, like you just got to keep pushing. So I mean, right now I'm first generation. Like my sister, she went to community college, but like she never finished. So all my siblings, like they never finished. My cousins, like they didn't go to college. So like a lot of my family is looking up to me to do like what's never been done before. So it's kind of, it made me stronger. But my sister, she's the type of person who holds everything in. Like my mom was that type of person. I was always the emotional one who always was crying, but she holds it in. Like she'll text me sometimes at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and she'll be like, I miss mom so much, and you and my girlfriend are like all I have. And I just like, I don't always know what to say to her, because we never talked about it. Like anytime anybody tries to talk to her about it, like she lashes out. So we haven't really got over it. It's like, and we're kind of distant. So like a lot of times in a family, when a person dies, the family kind of breaks apart. Which kind of happened on my mom's side of the family. Like since she passed away, like all the cousins, like basically all my cousins were like brothers and sisters. We were that close. We all lived like basically in the same houses. So like when she passed away, it was like everybody broke off.
Wow. How do you identify with maybe the idea of family now, if kind of once something like that happened? people dipped out. They did, you know. You grew apart.
So basically, it's kind of hard because it happened to my mom's side, and then like recently it happened to my dad's side too. So like my great granny died like 3 days before my graduation, and she was supposed to be there. Like that was hard because it's like basically when somebody dies important in the family, it's like all that matters is money. So to me right now, like you can give me $1 million, and I will probably spend it on everybody else. Like, I don't really care about money because, like, when my mom passed away, all my family cared about was the money. Like, they were fighting for me because I was still getting benefits from my mother because I wasn't 18 yet. So it was just like to be used. Basically, that's what I felt like my family was using me for money. Like, I didn't really matter. They didn't really care about my well-being. So us breaking apart just kind of, it's hard. Because you're supposed to be a family. Right. So I know that now when I finally start my own family, when I get older, I feel like it's a new start, like to a new generation of living freely. Like I don't want little things to break up our family, and I don't want money to be an objective of if I have children. Like I don't want that to be the objective of their lives. Like me being a social worker, helping people is actually what makes me happy. Like since losing my mom, like all I did was help her. Like that's what I felt like my purpose was. So when she left, like what am I supposed to do?
Right.
So it's just like I don't know. When I get older, I want my children to know, like that's not the way that we want to live. Like as a social worker, becoming a social worker, I feel like that's something that's gonna make me happy. So I mean, I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it for happiness. So, my father was like, he was incarcerated since I was 2 years old. And he didn't get out until I was 14. So, like, I had just started high school. And it was just like, I wasn't used to him being there. But, like, I feel like the happiest moment was me graduating. Because he was there to see it, and my mom wasn't. So, that kind of made me happy.
That's great. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make you... No, that's wonderful. No, that's great. And why did that make you so happy? Why did it bring the joy out of you to have him at that moment?
Because, like, my mom wasn't there to see how good I could really be. So, like, when she was here, like, I didn't show her my full potential, and then he got to see it. So it's like, I didn't do it all for nothing. Like, and there's still someone there for me. So... He missed so much of my life, like for him to be there in the end, like that's all that really mattered. Like me and him right now, like we have the greatest bond. Like he's my best friend, so it was like a really happy moment. I have a big heart, and it led me to be a fighter. So a lot of people think that when they're a crybaby or they feel like they're too nice, like they're not gonna make you or they're too weak, but it's all what makes you stronger. And I mean, it made me stronger over the years. I mean, and it led me to forgive a lot of people because I went through a lot of things, so it led me to forgive and to help push on. Like forgiving people, it's something that's like internally, it's like an eternal bliss, like internally. Like it's something, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, it's not just happiness, it's kind of like release. It's like freedom. So that made me stronger, just forgiving people.